Hi, my name is Dr. Dutta and I'm a consultant neuropsychiatrist and a life wellness coach. I'm an MD Psychiatry after my DNB Psychiatry and MBBS. I practice in the city of Joy, Kolkata. And what I basically do is help people with their emotional and mental health needs. I'm here with Uptownie, a brand which is fun, bold, and relatable. And we're bringing to you stress management, especially in the millennials. If you are a millennial, you know that stress has become a part and parcel of your life. So here are some important things that you should know about stress and how you can deal with it. Are you ready? Now, first of all, a big hey to everybody who's watching me and thank you. Please know that mental health is something that I love and I'm very passionate about. But I also find that more and more people ignore it. It's almost like because you cannot see it, you cease to just acknowledge it. If you are a youngster, you would know that these times are full of pressure. We're talking about stress. Stress is real. Now, first of all, what is even stress? Let me give you some good news first. Stress is normal. Yes, it is normal to feel stress and stressed out in day-to-day situations, in maybe when an exam is coming up, and maybe when a big date is coming up. Well, stress is normal. Now, how do I know that I'm stressed or not? Of course, everybody has different telltale signs, but here are some ways that you can understand that you're undergoing stress. The first part is more mental. Now, if you're constantly thinking about something, if your chain of thought doesn't stop, if your mind is constantly preoccupied, if you feel that your mind cannot concentrate on tasks which you should be actually looking at, or for that matter, you're losing sleep, you're losing your appetite, you're not able to be happy even though there is something to be happy about. It's that time that stress is more mental, and sadly most of us think that chala jayega, it'll go by on its own. The other part of stress is more physical. Now, this is when people actually start taking stress far more seriously. So it may be in the form of your hands shaking, or it may be in the form of your mouth drying, or it may be in the form of you feeling pukey all the time, like I said, not getting enough sleep. That's another mental and physical aspect for that matter. Or not eating, again, a mental and physical aspect. And finally, when people start seeing that their health is deteriorating physically, that's when they start taking stress far more seriously. Another part that I find often with stress is that people resort to bad habits. So it's very easy to say I'm stressed out and pick up a cigarette or pick up a drink and say, you know what, this is going to help me. You may feel that it helps you temporarily, but that's definitely no cure for stress. Now, I get asked a very interesting question ever so often about stress and youngsters. So honestly, guys, what do you feel? That our generation, or your generation for that matter, since you're probably even younger than me if you're watching this, is your generation far more stressed, or are our parents and grandparents' generation was the one which was far more stressed? This is an interesting question and I get such nice answers. So interestingly, the older generation always feels that the younger generation has it easy. They say, oh, you have your cell phones, oh, you have your internet, oh, you have so much access and there's so much in your particular generation. We used to have nothing. Whereas the younger generation feels that because we have so much, there is so much to stress out about as well. They feel that those were simpler times and maybe that was a happier time for that matter. So let me know in comments whether you feel that your generation is more stressed out or the previous generation was a lot more stressed out, guys. So what is it that makes this generation so stressed out? What has really changed? Now, first of all, I'd agree that the numbers show that depression has increased drastically over the last few years, and as has anxiety, as have so many other conditions related to the mental health. More and more people are feeling lost, vulnerable, lonely, sad, and depressed. Don't worry, let's not make this really sad. I'm here to help. The first thing to address would be that why are more people, and youngsters particularly, feeling stressed out? One of the first reasons which I can think of why more and more youngsters, and this is something that I see in my clinical practice all the time, that they tell me why they are more stressed out these days is because of their career choices. Now, back in the day, there used to be only so many traditional roles that you had to follow. So you could be a doctor, engineer, you could be a teacher, you could be a lawyer, and then there were a few other categories of jobs. But today, there's so many different kinds of jobs, and there are a lot more people competing for the same. In fact, the competition is another reason which stresses the youngsters out tremendously. There is just immense competition, right from, I would say, kindergarten to until the college and thereafter in life. So many more people are applying for the same job. With education rising, there are much more people to fulfill that. Now, that's one aspect of it. Another personal aspect, which more and more youngsters come to me and tell me that they worry about or they stress out about, are their relationships. Now, this could be relationship at home. Maybe the relationship that you share with your parents isn't as good, probably because of time constraints at their end. Now, more and more parents are working, both of them for that matter, than compared to the past. Similarly, the relationships with the peers, that means friends, has sort of become fragile. We're never talking face to face. See, we're not talking face to face even right now. Even with our friends, we're always texting. Sometimes things get lost in translation in texts. That's another stressful issue. Then there's also romantic relationships, which, as they are bitter and sweet sometimes, they can be confusing. It's so much easier to meet somebody, but yet so much more difficult to connect with somebody these days. And these can be extremely stressful for the millennial or the young generation. The other reason why stress may be on a higher rise is because of substance abuse. So many people are abusing marijuana, ganja, hashish, other drugs. Tobacco and alcohol have sort of become the cool thing to do or the very regular thing to do. These, as much as you think, do help with stress if that's what you feel, well, transiently short-term fixes aren't ever good. So if you're not addressing an issue which is going on and rather taking these ways, yes, stress may reduce, but stress will not cease, and in fact it may increase. Depression has become a very common feeling for many. Now, depression is different from just sadness. Sadness is maybe if somebody doesn't like my picture, then I may feel sad transiently. However, depression is something more pervasive, something which lasts for a few weeks to months, where you feel constantly low, where you don't have the energy to do anything. You may even feel suicidal. As you must have seen, suicide rates are on a rise, and that also shows that stress is so much more in the society these days, guys. But don't worry, everything can be fixed. Like I said, I'm not here to make you feel more depressed. I'm here to spread a good message. All of these are fixable. All of these stress related issues can be worked out. Watch till the end, you'll find some solutions, and if you don't find the right solution, leave us more questions. I'd be happy to answer. Another reason why a lot of stress has also cropped up is because of social media. Yes, you are watching this video on social media, of course. However, social media has started becoming the good, the bad, and the ugly. As much as we have, hooked onto it, it has also started taking over our lives, sort of becoming an addiction almost. And social media breeds so much competition that I'd love to talk about the good part which social media does. Of course, it has some good, the bad, and the super ugly part as well. First, let me talk about the good part of social media. Yes, social media can be good. It can be a creative outlet. It could be a chance to meet like-minded people. It could be a way to understand concepts which you traditionally wouldn't want to, do in a very mainstream way. So, for example, you're learning about mental health through this mode rather than actually maybe reading a book about it. So that way, yes, social media has some perks. You can also learn about fashion. You can also learn a lot of do-it-yourself videos, and you can learn a lot more about what different people have about their point of view in life. So yes, social media does have a good aspect to it. So other than the part that social media is good, where you can express your real self, there also comes the bad part. This constant competition of doing this challenge, that challenge, putting this recipe, asking you to better that recipe, or maybe showing you my workout and saying that, oh, can you do it or not, and tagging all your friends and challenging them. Maybe that can get a little bit overbearing sometimes. Also, a lot of people say that it breeds some sort of insecurity and takes a toll on their self-esteem when they find that so many people are better at so many other things, or maybe people are portraying themselves to be so much more fun and their lives to be so much happier. It can take a toll sometimes on other people's health because they feel that, oh wow, their life is perfect, why isn't mine that good? So yes, social media can cause some unnecessary, unrealistic goals and competition, which I think you should try and listen to the end of the video and see if you can do something about it. Coming to the worst part of social media, now I know this may not go down very well with some of the social media lovers. However, social media is instant gratification. You're bored, you pick up your phone, you open Instagram, you open Facebook, you open whichever platform you want. It's instantly looking for gratification in different places rather than looking for some kind of peace or solace within yourself or looking for an alternative. It's also, in my opinion, a platform where people have started streaming their depression and their suicide videos, which upsets me. So sometimes rather than putting out the positive message, it can actually show you the negative side of the same issue, which should be understood by people. I'm sure you must have heard of the Blue Whale Challenge, the Momo Challenge, the Kiki Challenge. So there's so many of these dangerous sides of challenges. I mean, the previous ones that I was talking about was just the fun challenges of cooking and exercising. However, people can put out some really disturbing content on social media, and I've had people come to me saying that they're disturbed about something that they saw on social media. And one of the worst aspects of social media can be social media stalking. Chances are that somebody may have stalked you or you may have stalked someone. So social media becomes a place for social media stalking, which definitely should be curbed. Alright, are you ready for solutions? Now I'm going to try to touch up on all the things that I spoke about and give you some very brief but realistic solutions. If you find that you want more help, you can always visit our page at @driradutta.com. That's our website, and you can find out more about mental health, mental wellness, holistic well-being, and about learning how to control your emotions. But here goes some of the ways that you can take care of stress, especially you young millennials. Now, first of all, identify stress. Because when it comes to stress, the biggest battle is one when you realize and admit that you're stressed out. Don't be in denial. There are a lot of people who love to live under this rock of denial that all is well, kuch kharab nahi hai, whereas they're really stressing out. Once you've accepted it, just pinpoint what is under your control and what is not. This is absolutely basic and needs to be done. So there may be factors which are under your control, like studying for that big exam, and factors not under your control, like how difficult is going to be the exam, because that's not under your control genuinely, right? Similarly, factors under your control, how you resolve a fight with your friend versus how your friend reacts. That's not under your control, right? So do that with stress. Also develop some of your own stress busters. The squeezy ball actually does help, and I recommend a lot of people who feel constantly stressed out to carry one around. It gives you a sort of grounding kind of feeling. So there can be a lot of stress busters that you can look up, or we can help you develop some of these stress busters. But the idea is to keep it super simple, something that you can do while you're even walking to the car. Coming to the part about identifying. Now, identifying mental health issues would be something that I strongly urge you to. Whether it's you, whether it's a dear friend, whether it's your partner, whether it's a parent, if you feel somebody needs mental health help, please talk about it. There are a lot of articles that I've been quoted in leading newspapers where I've talked about how to talk to someone who may be feeling depressed, or how to talk to someone who's suicidal. Take a moment to read the blog if you can and find out how you can help someone. And if you yourself are feeling like that, please feel free to reach out, because mental health should not be ignored. It's not an option. It is very important. So what do we do about social media? It's going to be here. You're going to be wanting to be a part of it. You're not going to cease being on social media anytime soon, I suppose. So what do we do on social media? The first thing, if social media is a happy place, please do continue. But even if it's a happy place, try to follow this rule that I always tell the millennials who come in. try to create more than you can consume, which simply means that if you are on social media all the time, try to learn something and actually apply it. So if you've seen a recipe and you want to actually do it, that would be more worthwhile than feeling pity that, oh my god, I can't even do this. Maybe you'll burn that dish, but that's okay. You tried to create. Similarly, if the sense of competition starts coming, I highly recommend unfollow some of those accounts which make you feel bad about yourself. You're not going to miss out on anything. Now that's the next thing, the FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's genuine, everybody feels it. I too have sometimes looked up things just, oh, I need to know because of that. Yes, you need to know, but you do not need to be a part of everything. So whether it's a lockdown challenge, whether it's a dance video, whatever it is, do not try to do it all, or you will not be good at any one thing. Rather than try to master a few things that you're already very good at. If you are on social media, remember to be genuine, to be real, to actually speak your mind about what you feel, but not diss others about their opinion. So a lot of stress is not only onto you, but sometimes we create stress for others on social media by passing nasty comments or writing things which aren't very pleasant. If you do that, please avoid doing that. Somebody can do it to you or your loved ones, and it's not okay to be rude to someone just because their opinion is different from our opinion, correct? And finally, my favorite, social media cleanse. Yes, that is every now and then take a detox from social media, whether it's your WhatsApp, whether it's your Insta, whether it's your Facebook, whether it's your Twitter, whether it's any other account. Every now and then take a few days off, you will feel like a different person. Some more solutions for stress if you're feeling it very regularly. Try to write out your feelings. Try to write out what is stressing you out. It does help immensely. Consider going to therapy if you feel that stress is becoming overwhelming and you want to learn how to manage stress, whether it's relationship, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, whether it's something else. Try and think about therapy. Keep an open mind, guys. You can definitely pick up meditation. Meditation is extremely helpful, and it doesn't have to be as complicated as people make it to be. Meditation can be very simple. Another thing that you can do is just learn basic movement of the body in any form. Now, I do not say go to the gym at all. In fact, you can just find a nice dance routine that you'd like to do when you're alone. Just jump around. These are simple ways which pump you up with endorphins, that is the happy chemical. Just move. That essentially takes care of a lot of stress and takes it out of the body in a positive way. Alright guys, so that was me, Dr. Dutta, and I do hope that some of these stress management tips for you youngsters and millennials helped. If there's anything else, please feel free to drop by our page. Please feel free to send a message to Uptownie 101, and we'd be happy to address any issues. I hope you don't have any issues during the lockdown. Remember to stay safe, remember to stay home, and have a great day, guys. Bye.